is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
Under threatening skies in the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Fox Sports Ohio brings you Cincinnati Reds baseball. Tonight, game 2 of the 3-game set. It's the Reds against the Buccos. Hi, hello, and welcome to Pittsburgh, everyone. Along with the crafty left-hander Chris Welch and Jim Dale join us shortly. I'm George Grand. Well, the Reds trying to get a win on the road. They've had only one so far this year. They've been having trouble pitching, yes, but one thing you can say, Chris, the way Joey Votto's broken out after that 0 for 19 string, that's been a bright spot for this club.
The night after Jake Arrieta finished the no-hitter and the Cubs beat the Reds 16-0, Joey Votto's batting average sat a season-low 172, and that may have been a low point for the Reds, too. But since that time, he's beginning to swing the bat a lot better. And, you know, for Joey Votto, the adjustment that he makes is simply making sure that he gets pitches out on the outer part of the plate that he can actually hit the other way. When he does that, he puts a barrel on the ball. We saw that last night, but hitters continue to pitch Joey Votto inside, and eventually we're going to see if he's going to make that adjustment or not. I don't think Liriano is going to go in on him tonight very much because he's got that slider, but that'll be the interesting thing to watch as we go forward, how Votto continues to change based on how pitching staffs are now pitching him a little differently.
Talk about making adjustments. Hopefully Alfredo Simon's ready to make an adjustment. His first start for the Reds was pretty good, but he's had some bumps in the road, and Chris, the Reds need him to step up big.
Well, you know, I'm not really sure how healthy his arm is. He did not have spring training. At first he looked very sharp, and then he set back into what they called a dead arm period. Now they're saying he's had some soreness in his shoulder, so let's hope that that soreness is gone and he can deliver a good outing tonight for the Reds.
On the other side of it, Francisco Liriano's always had trouble with the Reds. The Reds have hit well against him, and he's had bad luck against them, but the team seems to win his starts.
Well, yeah, I mean, they do win his starts because he goes deep in ball games, but the problem with him going deep in ball games is that he throws a lot of pitches. So deep for Liriano is about 6 innings. The Reds, if the game plan is secure for them tonight, they simply have to make him bring the ball up, do not swing at anything at the knees, make him throw waist high or above, and that's going to be a strike.
Over the years, the Reds have had difficulty against left-handers. These days, they look forward to seeing some left-handers. Will the right-hand hitters be able to unload against Liriano? We'll find out next. JD has more on Fox Sports Ohio.
Fox Sports Ohio is brought to you by Chevy. Check out their award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealer. By Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time. Back in the Berg, this would be dancing in the rain. Pirates like to do a little dancing before each and every game. And that's Cincinnati's Josh Harrison doing the duties today. I'm Jim Day, standing in the rain. We all thought this game was going to be delayed. Rain coming down, light rain, but they're going to start this game on time, and they're going to play through it at least for now. And the Reds will face a left-hander in Francisco Liriano. And for some guys in the lineup, that's good news. You check out our Elk and Elk storylines. Duvall, Suarez, Phillips, Cozart this season versus left-handed pitching. Look at the numbers. 444 average, 435, 368, 353. All those guys in the heart of the lineup. Reds need a victory. We'll see if they can do damage against this lefty in the rain as we go upstairs to the gentleman that'll call it, George Graham and Chris Sweat.
Thanks, JD. Get your bumper chute out. Stay dry down there, buddy. Come up and join us if it gets too wet. Let's check the starting lineup with Zach Cozart at the top of it for Brian Price tonight. Cozart comes in for the Reds, still being one of the major offensive forces. He's hit in 15 of the 17 games he's played in. Eugenio Suarez bats second. Joey Votto, after that 0 for 19 string, has been hitting over 400. Phillips behind him. Duvall in left. Jay Bruce will be your right fielder. Tucker Barnhart, the switch hitting catcher for an ailing Devin Mesoraco, whose left shoulder's bothering him. Simon hits in the 8th spot, and Billy Hamilton, who career-wise has his highest career batting average against the Pirates in any team he's faced. Well, they will face this left-hander who struggled against the Reds, but Chris, he's one tough hombre.
Well, he's a tough hombre, George, because what he does is gets a lot of hitters just chase pitches outside the strike zone, and they swing at it. He's got an excellent slider, an excellent changeup to go along with the fastball that is just fast enough, around 91, 92 miles an hour, to keep you honest.
Well, Jim mentioned that it is raining now. It's kind of a misting rain. The radar shows a big block of heavier rain moving in. So they figure, let's get it started. Maybe we can get some in, and might be a delay later on, but they are optimistic of trying to get this game completed tonight. Cozart steps in. Liriano delivers. That's strike one, says Angel Hernandez, the home plate umpire. Will Little is down at first. Ted Barrett is your second base umpire, and Sean Barber's your third base umpire. Cozart overall is 171 against this lefty. Overall 373 on the season. One of the league leaders in hitting, but he's still 4 plate appearances shy of qualifying to be listed among the leaders. But it's pretty clear every place we go in New York. Terry Collins was mentioning it here. Clint Hurdle's mentioning it, and what a difference the Reds lineup looks like with this guy in it, both defensively and offensively. And you don't have to tell his teammates that. This dribbler down to short. Mercer gobbles it up, and there's one away. Let's check your 4 defensive alignment for the Pirates. The Pirates come in 6th in the league defensively. They've committed 14 errors and are one of the league leaders in double plays. Marte, McCutchen, Polanco, great speed, great arms in the outfield. Freeze, back from the American League, solid at third. Mercer and Harrison, former double play combo in the minors, reunited again after Neil Walker left town in a trade. And John Jaso, over from Minnesota, has been solid both offensively and defensively at first. And Francisco Cervelli has been great behind the plate. That's your 4 defensive alignment. Here's Suarez at 271. He's had some success against Liriano, 3 for 9 and a home run. Chris, over the years watching Liriano, I mean, it seemed like almost automatic that he'd command the down and away spot against right-handers, but he's been having trouble doing that this year.
Well, he's been having trouble throwing strikes at all, George. I think his reliance on that slider is part of it, and teams have finally wised up and said, all right, we're going to make you throw the ball over the plate. So far in this ball game, he's stuck pretty much with the fastball almost every pitch.
High in the air to right. It'll stay in the park. Peering up into the drizzle is Polanco. He's got it, and there's 2 away.
I think the game plan for the Reds, we talked about it with Jeff Brantley in the pregame show. We touched on it in our open, George. The Reds have to make sure that he throws the ball over the plate high enough to be called a strike. He's an expert at making you chase those pitches that are at the knees, and then they dart down out of the strike zone. In fact, he's one of the best in baseball in doing that.
Here's Joey Votto. Overall, the average up to 238. 2 homers, 11 knocked in. Against this left-hander, he's 5 for 26. That equates to 192 and a homer. But against the Pirates in his career, he's always hit well here. 320 for his career in Pittsburgh. And against the Pirates overall, 326 for his career. 1 ball and 1 strike. Way up and in for a ball, 2-1. Joey hit the depths of his seasonal average with that 0 for 19 funk. Since then, he's hit over 400 at 409, 9 for 22. Now backs him up and in, and then nips at the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You may have seen that little conversation prior to that pitch between Angel Hernandez and Joey Votto. Votto left the batter's box and asked for permission to do so. I'm not sure if Hernandez actually gave him permission, and as he walked out of the box, Angel Hernandez went back over to him and said, all right, now get back in the box. You're only allowed to leave the box after you foul a pitch off or swing and miss it, or unless there's timeout called somewhere.
Full count, 3-2. Rock right off the glove of Harrison. He can't pick it up, and that'll go as a base hit. A bullet right at Josh Harrison. Now they're going to charge him an error. No, they'll charge an error to Harrison.
Well, I guess just because you hit the ball hard doesn't mean you always get a base hit, at least not in the major leagues. And that ball is almost picked by Harrison. Ball was really wicked shot. A humpback line drive. You know, as hard as Votto hit that ball, would not be surprised to know that it was knuckling at the second baseman.
Yep. Exploding in front of Harrison. So Votto's on, and here comes Phillips. Brandon steps in at 290, a homer and 7 knocked in. He's one of the few Reds that have had long-term success against Liriano. 306 and a home run. 12 for 36 is Brandon.
Well, it's kind of interesting because Liriano lives against right-handers down and in with that slider. But if you get it up just a little bit and on the inner third of the plate instead of on the corner, that's where Brandon's sweet spot is. He loves the ball down and in. He drops the bat head on that pitch more often than not. And I was surprised to see Cervelli wanting that first fastball right in that spot. Going back in there again.
Setting up down and in again. Fastball foul back.
I mean, if you chart the home run pitches that Brandon Phillips has hit throughout the course of his career, a whole lot of them are down in that spot right there.
And he's hit a whole lot of them. 184 homers in his career. Not many second basemen in that stratified air. He's tied with Charlie Gehringer with 184 career home runs. That's pretty good company when you start mentioning your name with guys like Charlie Gehringer and Biggio and Morgan and Sandberg.
Well, he's been around a long time. He's played hard for a long time. He's played injured a lot more than people will ever know about Brandon Phillips. He's just a guy that wants to come to the ballpark and play baseball. And he's been all over the lineup as a major leaguer.
No balls, 2 strikes. Short lead Votto at first. Fouled off, he stays alive.
You know, it seems like every year we say Brandon Phillips batting 4th, and he's not your prototypical cleanup hitter. But the next year he's batting 4th again, and the next year he's batting 4th again. So, of course, that cleanup spot has changed over the last few years, especially.
I think that was one of the reasons why Dusty Baker really wanted him in Washington, because he knew he could lead off if he had to. He knew he could be a number 2 hitter. He knew he hit 3rd or 4th as well. Brandon did not accept the trade, wanted his contract extended, so he remains a Cincinnati Red. They ended up signing Murphy, and Murphy's off to a tremendous start for the Nationals, and the Nationals are off to a great start. Hard to believe, Chris, after Dusty left the Reds, made a lot of phone calls. Not many people called him back, but I think Washington finally made a wise decision in bringing Dusty Baker back.
Of course, they had the deal done already with someone else before that fell apart, and Dusty was right there ready to take it. So being in the right place at the right time can never be underestimated.
Going into play today, Washington with a 15-7 record atop the Eastern Division. That's a bang shot into center, a base hit for Brandon. So Phillips bangs a base hit to center after being down 0-2. He finds one that he can handle, and there's 2 on for the Reds. And here comes Adam Duvall in a 241.
Boy, a chance to do some damage early is something you'd love to do against a pitcher who has really struggled. You know, on opening day, Francisco Liriano came out and he pitched a really great ball game against the St. Louis Cardinals. They won that game 4-1. 6 innings, he gave up 1 run, but ever since that time he has really struggled. So no better time to jump on him than right here in the first inning.
Reds have got him working from the stretch early and trying to cash in here. Duvall at the plate, Bruce on deck.
Here's what we're talking about. In his first start, you see he only gave up 3 hits in 6 innings. But since that time, he has walked 12 batters in his next 3 starts, averaging 4 batters per start. Boy, nothing wrong with his stuff. I mean, he's throwing 95, which is better than his average. So this must be one of those nights where he's had 1 extra day rest since the last time he pitched, where he may feel a little frisky out there.
1 ball, 1 strike. In the dirt, great block by Cervelli as both runners were prepared to move up. Anytime it hits the dirt around the front of the home plate rubber, you really have no idea where it's going, and he was in the right place at the right time, or the Reds would have 2nd and 3rd.
All right, you got to get your body over there.
And he does almost all the time. High in the air to center field. McCutchen will put it in his pocket, so the Reds get a runner on an error and a base hit. They strand 2 in the first. Here comes Alfredo Simon to face John Jaso. Fallen at PNC Park as we're go to the bottom of the first inning. Let's check the starting lineup for Clint Hurdle in his 6th year as manager, 4 years removed from being manager of the year in the National League. He'll send John Jaso out to lead it off. He's been outstanding at the top of the order. Andrew McCutchen this year moved up to the #2 spot as they reconfigure their offense. David Freese, once a Cardinal, then in the American League, back in the National League, and off to a great start. Starling Marte, followed by Cervelli, Polanco, Harrison, Mercer, and Liriano. The pitcher bats in the 9th spot. And here's Alfredo Simon.
Well, Simon, if he's healthy, will throw strikes, get that fastball 93 to 95 miles an hour, nice slider and changeup. But I'm not so sure that we've seen a healthy Simon in a while.
This one hit deep to right, going back as Bruce. Forget it, that's gone. Well, a get-ahead fastball ends up being a 1-0 lead for the Buccos. First homer of the year from Jaso. And the Pirates have a quick 1-0 lead. The Pirates, during their recent win streak of 5 straight, have more often than not been getting out in front early. And here's another example of it, Chris.
Well, you know, Jaso has a star in his scouting report that says this guy is very patient. Throw him a lot of strikes because he will wait you out. He didn't wait for anything that time. He jumped on the first thing he saw from Simon.
For John Jaso, his 5th career leadoff homer, and that's the first leadoff homer for the Buccos this year. Well, he's been everything the Pirates wanted when they brought him over from Minnesota and inserted him in the leadoff spot. He's been getting on base, one of the toughest to double up, toughest to fan, and he's been solid defensively. Here's McCutchen at 236, 5 homers, 10 knocked in. McCutchen 214 and a homer in his career against Simon.
He came into this series very hot. He did not do anything last night, 0 for 4. But he had 6 hits in his previous 3 games, including 3 home runs. And it just looks like for me last night, Georgia in one game doesn't tell you that. But, you know, sometimes when you go out and you hit 3 home runs like he did in his last game in Colorado, your swing gets a little bit big. It looked big to me last night for some reason.
Colorado has a tendency to do that to you, huh? Foul down the third base line. Bounced off the third base coach, Rick Sofield. He's okay.
When McCutchen is seeing the ball right, the best place to pitch him is simply down and away. You show him in, and then you go down and away, and you make him beat you going the other way, which you can do, but you try to keep the ball down.
That's where Simon's been so often in the last 3 weeks, Chris, and usually when he's right, he is down.
Yeah, you're right, but you see that slider right there way high? That tells me you're either flying open or you got a little barky shoulder going on.
2 balls, 2 strikes. That's pop foul. It'll be out of play.
And just because your shoulder barks a little bit doesn't mean you can't pitch. I don't know if there's anybody out there pitching, you know, at the level of college or beyond in minor leagues, major leagues, who goes through a whole year when their arm doesn't hurt. I mean, it's just a natural thing for pitchers to walk around and your arm hurts a little bit. And you have to distinguish what's aches and pains and what's something more serious.
2-2. And the dirt will go full, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
But 2 indications really from an outsider watching the game or watching a pitcher determine whether a guy's got a barky arm. One is that he loses his velocity, and the other that he loses his control. Could be both, could be one or the other.
Sounds like a good title for a country western song.
Been covered.
Achy barky arm. You could write it, Blake Shelton could sing it, you'd have a hit. Oh, we get Jesse to sing it. Jesse, you sing that for us? All right. Great to have you with us. Jesse Jackson up in the booth with us and on the road trip with us here in Pittsburgh. Stage 2 of the 2-city road trip. Josh Hall, our producer, Brian Hunterman, our director, Kevin Pennewitt, Jim Miller, giving us highlights and graphics down in the truck too. Back home in Cincinnati, we'll be checking in later on with Matt Sigafus, who's in for Kent Dream Weaver this weekend, producing back in the studio with Jeff Pecoro and
Thank you.
Ryan Giesenslaw. A big long look from McCutchen, but Simon will take that as strikeout number 1 and out number 1.
Well, it's number 10 on your screen right there, and even though it missed where the catcher was set up, it got right along the top of the strike zone. Our Fox box will agree with Angel Hernandez on that one.
So 1 away, and here comes David Freese. Freese at .284, a homer, 9 knocked in his career, 2 for 10 against Simon. David spent 5 years in St. Louis, and when he was a Cardinal, he always hit well against the Reds. He's a career .300 hitter when he was in St. Louis, and boy, was he instrumental in the Cardinal postseason runs of 2011 and 2013. 2011, he was the National League Series MVP and then the World Series MVP. Not just with average and numbers, but with big hits, walk-off hits, comeback hits. He did everything he could to keep the Cardinals alive. And there's his career average now, still over 300 at .303 against the Reds. Talking to Clint Hurdle, he said he's been a great addition on the field, offensively, defensively, as well as in the clubhouse. That's a walk, so Simon gets his first strikeout, issues his first walk, and here's Starling Marte. Let's check your Ford defensive alignment for the Reds. Cincinnati has struggled defensively in the first month of the year. 20 errors, that's last in the National League. Duvall, Hamilton, Bruce across the outfield. Suarez, Cozart, Phillips, and Votto. Phillips and Votto together on the right side of the infield for the 993rd time. And Tucker Barnhart's behind the plate in for Devin Mesoraco. Mesoraco admitting before the game today that his hip feels fine, best it's felt, but his shoulder, not his throwing shoulder, his opposite shoulder has been troublesome, making it more difficult for him to swing the bat. So the injuries keep sidetracking the fellow that the Reds had penciled in, not just as their starting catcher, but a 20 to 30 home run guy, Chris. Short lead for Freese. Here's Marte in at .333, 3 homers, 12 knocked in. He's the best that the Pirates have against Simon. Oh, in his career, .357 is Starling Marte against Simon. George Grant, Chris Welsh, Jim Day in the misting rain of PNC Park.
You know, if you ask a scout to pick one player on the Pirates team that is a 5-tool player, you think, well, automatically they're going to pitch Andrew McCutchen, right? Former MVP. But more than likely, they'll talk about this young man right here, Starling Marte. 27 years old this year. They really feel like this is the year he will have a breakout season.
Two balls, one strike.
He's not a real big guy. I mean, he's not one of these guys that you expect he's going to, you know, bulk up and get to be 225 or 230 pounds. But he's a gap hitter. He's very athletic. He plays just about every position. In fact, there will be a day, and it won't be all that far in the future, that they'll move McCutchen to one of the corner outfield spots, and Marte will patrol center field here.
Not big and bulky, but Chris, he reminds you a lot of former Red Reggie Sanders. If you see him, I mean, without the uniform on and like a T-shirt, he's just chiseled. Just strong from head to toe.
Bat speed comes from his hands. He's got very strong wrists.
Dribble down to third. It's a foul ball.
And he did something last night, Marte did, I don't think I have ever seen him do before, which when he got behind the count with 2 strikes, he just kind of half swung the ball and punched it right into right field. He's got that same big gap right now with the way the Reds are defending him.
Former Red Jeff Branson, who's the hitting coach here, has worked with him the last couple of years, and you can measurably see that he's cut down his swing.
Well, you can see where the Reds are stationed here against Marte. Or the infield right here. And last night he punched that ball right into this area when he had 2 strikes on him.
Two balls, 2 strikes. to Marte with one away. Freeze, short lead down at first. They're blocked by Barnhart, and we'll go full 3-2.
You know, you may see hitters when it's raining outside. It's raining right now, not enough to stop the game, but it's drizzling just enough to get wet. You're going to see them periodically, actually often, wipe the barrel of their bat dry as every chance they can possibly do it. Good pitch right there, down and in.
Great spot. Second strikeout for Simon. 2 away, and here comes Cervelli.
Well, the second time in this inning that he's got a strikeout on a fastball. This one's swinging a miss right over the top of a heavy sinker. That is the Alfredo Simon classic pitch right there. I mean, when he gets his arm up into a high throwing position, which is where his normal slot is, he can drive that two-seamer down to those right-handers, and you really don't want anything to do with it.
Simon picked up off waivers from the Orioles back in 2012, and in his career with the Reds, he was an all-star in 2014, had a career ERA of 3.16 in 3 years with the Reds, and he was, you talk so often about how do you structure a bullpen. Yes, you need a closer, but Alfredo Simon was really a bullpen saver, because when you needed somebody to come in the second, third, or fourth and give you 3 or 4 innings, he did it consistently for Brian Price, and then was awarded by being a starter in his final year for the Reds, which was 2014. Then traded to Detroit, where he was 13-12 last year. Cervelli, another 300 hitter in this lineup. Jaso, Marte, Cervelli, Polanco, Harrison, Mercer, all hitting over 300. Cervelli at 311.
Yeah, it looks like the game plan for Simon is very similar to that Tucker Barnhart had last night for Dan Straley, which is pitch the Pirates inside. I mean, he's coming after every one of these guys on the inner part of the plate with that two-seamer, saying just here it is. Straley did that very well last night. He doesn't throw anywhere near as hard as Simon does, but his location was very good.
And after the game, Straley's saying, I mean, he's throwing bouquets at Barnhart, saying that he was so comfortable working with Barnhart. They were on the same page all night long. And he said those inside fastballs set up, which was, in the brief time we've seen him, Chris, that was probably his best breaking ball last night that he had.
Well, it's hard to have a good breaking ball when it's 40 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Or if you're trying to throw it in Arizona.
Yep. Full count 3-2 with 2 away, so Freese will be off and running from first. Fouled again. Well, a lengthy first inning for Simon. This will be his 30th pitch of the first inning.
Well, it's also his 4th consecutive 3-2 count. Both strikeouts have come on a 3-2 count. His walk came on a 3-ball count. I want to say it was maybe 3-1 to David Freese.
There goes Freese. And that's ball 4. So 2 strikeouts, 2 walks in the inning to go along with the Jaso homer. 2 on, 2 outs, and here comes Polanco. Price, eyes peering out at his big right-hander. And you're right, Chris. You know, when Alfredo Simon's at his best, he gets the ball back ready to go to work. I mean, the rain might have something to do with it tonight, but doesn't appear to be entirely comfortable, whether it's mechanics, physical problem, or otherwise. Well, here's Polanco in his career 4 for 12 against Simon. Average speed at second and freeze. That's a strike, says Angel Hernandez.
You can be comfortable, uncomfortable, or somewhere in between. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you when you're standing on a major league mound pitching. Certainly not the other team. So you got to figure out to find a way to your comfort zone.
That'll kick away. Both runners will advance. They're now second and third with 2 outs as a wild pitch charge to Simon.
I don't think he's thrown a slider, a good slider yet. And I'm pretty sure that's what this pitch is right here. Either that or just a splitter that just decided to go about 55 feet. So if we notice the fact that he's having a hard time throwing anything off speed for a strike, the Pirates are certainly noticing that too.
Second and third, 2 outs. Here's the 1-1 to Polanco. Not even close. 2-1. Got in on him. This one popped up to second. Phillies should put it in his pocket. He does, and the Pirates will strand a pair. But the leadoff homer from John Jaso gives the Buccos a 1-0 lead. Jay Bruce will lead it off.
For inning number 2, and we'll take a look at what he has done so far this year as far as walks per inning pitched. His career average is fewer than 4 per 9 innings. But now this year that has skyrocketed up to 7.2. And I don't think it's just all of a sudden Liriano losing control of the strike zone. I think the hitters are swinging fewer times. This chart you right here shows you the amount of percentage swings that hitters chase Liriano when he throws the ball outside the strike zone. We'll go back to it again. So from the time he joined the Pirates in 2013, it's always around 32, 33%. This year, that outside the zone swing is all the way down to 24%. So clearly hitters are learning that Liriano doesn't like to throw the ball over the plate, and they're going to wait him out. And that's one reason why his walks are way up.
Here's Jay Bruce. Bounces this one foul down the first base line. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You know, we talk about analytics and defensive positioning, so on and so forth. I mean, the concept of analytics is all encompassing, everywhere from pitch selection from an offensive standpoint to pitch delivery from a pitching perspective to defense. And now with computers on the bench, not only do you get the scouting reports, but you can dial that up almost immediately.
Well, I mean, really, analytics go back to when Henry Chadwick invented the box score. I mean, batting average is an analytic formula, so is earned run average. It's just that as people have gotten smarter and computers have gotten more powerful and more tracking points, that there are more complicated formulas that can probably tell a better story now than what we were using, 20, 30, or 50 years ago.
We were in St. Louis, had an opportunity to spend some time with Teddy Simmons, who brilliant baseball player, probably belongs in the Hall of Fame as a player, brilliant catcher, as a swing and a miss. Bruce is retired. Strikeout #1 for Liriano. And he brought up a great point. He's now with the Atlanta Braves in their front office. He said, I mean, I'm an old-time baseball guy, and I believe in that. But we have to come to the point where when you get 6 scouts in the room and 6 analytic guys in the room, Barnhart fouls the first delivery off for strike 1, that they're not on opposite sides of the room. You got 2 scouts talking to 3 analytics guys, or 2 analytics guys talking to 3 scouts. When we get to that point, then all of this melds together and it works. It's not all one way or the other.
Well, as long as you have a ball club that agrees that you need a little bit of both.
Yep.
Now, the old timers may be worried that the young guys coming in are taking their jobs and are going to eliminate the old eyeball on the player. And that's when you have some problems.
It's an evolving makeup of front offices and, for that matter, coaching staffs, too.
Well, it saved the jobs of the coaching staff here in Pittsburgh, including Clint Hurdle and the general manager, Neil Huntington. I mean, they were the first team really to really overall embrace the defensive metrics the way they did, and they have many more shifts than most teams in the National League, and they continue to employ new shifts.
2-2.
And new strategies.
In fact, this entire coaching staff was re-signed yesterday with new contracts through 2017. That's the same length that Clint Hurdle's contract goes to. The team does have a 1-year option after that.
And why not do that now?
Sure.
I mean, when you're a major league coach, you're not making that much money. You're making nowhere near what the major league player minimum is. And that's got to be a tough feeling. You go home in September or October and you don't know whether you're being brought back or not. So you take that worry right out of their minds, and I think if you're happy with them, that's a good move to do early in the year.
Full count, 3-2 to Barnhart, in at 333. Tucker, no homers and 4 knocked in. Freeze has it, sidearm throw across the infield, and there's 2 away. Barnhart gave the Reds their only breath of offense last night. Joey Votto led off with a double, and Barnhart doubled him home off the glove of McCutchen in center field in the 9th inning. That's the only run that the Reds had in a 4-1 defeat. By the way, for those of you that weren't with us, your report card on Dan Straley from last night, Chris.
You keep your team in the ball game and you get a passing grade. You have no bearing on how many runs your team's going to score on your behalf. He's thrown the ball very well.
Simon fouls this down the right field line, and for those of you that joined us late today, Raisel Iglesias was scheduled to start tomorrow. He will not start tomorrow. The Reds haven't announced officially who will start. He's been sent back to Cincinnati to have his shoulder examined.
I'm wondering how long that's bothered Raisel, because we have not seen him throw at the velocity that he did last year. They held him back in spring training. They said it was an arm strengthening issue they wanted to get taken care of, and hopefully that was going to be enough to do it. Evidently it did not, and better to stop it now before it gets something that's going to be chronic for him.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Simon. Fouled at the plate. And there is no immediate plan in the rehabbing status of both Homer Bailey and Anthony DeSclafani to put them on a track that will put them in Brian Price's rotation. Swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts in the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Reds. Josh Harrison will lead it off as we go to the bottom of 2.
Jim Day, let's check out tonight's IGS bringing the energy last night. Alex Rodriguez, Yankees hit the Red Sox, home run. Later on, David Ortiz, 2-run home run in the 8th that broke a 2-2 tie. Red Sox win 4-2, and they become the first pair of 40-year-olds to home run in the same game. And not only did Ortiz provide the game winner, but earlier in the day, he promised a kid going through a tough time he would hit a home run for him, and he came through. Pretty special story.
Big Papi, pretty special for the fans in Boston. What a career winding down. He's making his tour around Major League Baseball and American League parks. Here's Josh Harrison waving at that for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes to Harrison. Josh has hit in 8 straight. Hit his first homer of the year and his first in almost a full year since May of last year, last night. Also came up with 2 great defensive plays. Asked him before the game what felt better, the defensive play of the homer. He said the win, and that's Josh Harrison. You know, not about what I did, it's about the win. Made a great appearance at UC, his alma mater, when he was home opening week and threw out the first pitch of the ball game there. Said he had a great time talking with some of the players. Down to short. Cozart will have to hustle, and they'll get him by just a half a step. Nice job by Cozart. Cozart saying that in his feeling, this field. There's another look, Chris. Good job by Votto. There's a new infield at Citi Field in New York and a new infield here. They've got a new field coordinator here, and he said these right now are two infields that have come the furthest, that are the best that they've been. This used to be a brutal infield, and New York, of course, old Shea Stadium and the new Citi Field, that was a horrible infield, but it's gotten much better. How much care did you take on the mound when you pitch? I know shortstop, second baseman, they're meticulous in the way they evaluate the sand, the way they evaluate the grass.
I like the long grass, obviously, being a sinker ball pitcher, but what I used to do, George, and it was more from a mental standpoint than anything, if I could, the day before that I would pitch on our pitching mound, I'd run out there during batting practice and look at home plate from the pitcher's mound just to get an idea what it was like, so you can think about it the night before as you go over the game plan, the hitters, you're kind of closing your eyes and you're taking a mental view of what the game should play out like. And having that perspective of what it looks like the pitcher's mound is important. I recommend amateur players to do the same thing. Get out there and look at what it's like, so that when you get in a game and you see, the bleachers and all the people and your grandma and grandpa there, that you don't get freaked out, that you're kind of used to it.
3 balls, 2 strikes. It's Jordy Mercer, the shortstop, hitting in the 8th spot. Wide to third. Suarez scoops. 2 away. Okay, you grew up in Cincinnati. We'd go to the games with your dad, Dan, and sit and watch the Reds. When you came to town for the first time and pitched at Riverfront Stadium, did you do that? Did you go out the day before? Did you check out the mound? Was that a moment that you remember?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Sure did.
What did you remember most about it?
I remember that there were really some pretty good hitters still on the Reds team. And I was facing Tom Seaver.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah. Whoever he was.
Yeah. Tom Seaver and I were teammates. His last year was my first year at USC. There's the 1-0 to Liriano, and this one hit pretty good to right. Bruce going over, reaching up, and he got it. More on Seaver later, but Liriano gave that one a ride and a half.
Is presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
May the force be with you. May the 6th through the 8th when the Reds host Star Wars weekend at the ballpark. Saturday, May 7th, first 25,000 fans will receive a Star Wars X-Wing fighter, Mr. Redleg's bobblehead, thanks to Dynergy Energy and Services. Get your tickets to Star Wars weekend for as low as $12. Call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com. Here we go to the top of the 3rd. Billy Hamilton will lead it off. Cozart and Suarez to follow. Even Mr. Pirate has the raincoat on tonight. Quickly to wrap up the Seaver story, Chris. Tom Seaver signed as a junior. In fact, he actually signed with the Braves, and his signing was negated because the Reds had already technically played a game in January. So Commissioner Eckert ruled that the signing was not legal. Bang, 1 pitch down to Freeze, and they'll get the out at first. Hamilton's retired, 1 away. So they put his name in a hat, and eventually the Mets wound up picking his name. So he leaves as a junior, and he was short of his credit, so he had to do a paper to fulfill his credits to get his degree. And the paper he did was for geology for Dr. Stone, was to talk and evaluate the composition of the dirt on Major League Baseball mounds throughout the major leagues. So he spent his first year in the major leagues digging dirt on the mound and getting it evaluated, and eventually he got the paper done and he got his degree, and he got the Hall of Fame too.
Better believe it. That's a great story.
1 ball, 1 strike. Cozart grounded to short first time up.
Zach Cozart has been so good to start this season off. There have only been 2 games here in the entire month of April where he has not gotten a hit. He took an 0-for obviously in the no-hitter game against Jake Arrieta, and last night. 0-for-2 tonight.
3rd strikeout for Liriano. Liriano on the year 1-1. In his career against the Reds, he's only 1-5 and an ERA of about 4. The Reds have found a way to beat him. Trying to do that again here. Suarez, fly ball to right first time up. When you played, everybody said the Dodger mound was the best mound for pitchers and the highest mound. Did you find that to be true?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And there are some ballparks, and this goes for amateur fields also, where you stand on the mound and you seem like you're on top of the hitter. Then you get on the another mound and it seems like the home plate is 6 miles away.
Well, back in those days, there was so much more room between home plate and the stands. Today, most parks, home plate is anywhere from 35 to 45 feet from the stands. I mean, in some parks, it was 70, 80 feet. In places like Oakland and, of course, the original Dodger Stadium, there was a lot of dirt. Candlestick was the same way. Now, I mean, fans are much closer, yes, but I mean, the pitchers union bemoans the fact there's less foul territory. There's a rocket shot back through the middle off Liriano and then off Harrison into center field. That'll be a base hit for Suarez.
This ball really comes off the bat like right now. Goes behind Liriano as he falls off towards third base. I got to figure that Harrison just didn't see that ball very well. Kind of shielded partially by the pitcher. Ball coming bouncing nearly right on top of the second base bag. I mean, you hit a ball that hard, you do deserve a base hit.
Votto didn't in the first. Harrison charged with an error, and in this time Harrison must feel like a pincushion now. They've been bouncing off him.
I say you deserve a base hit, doesn't mean you're always going to get one.
There's Joey, reached on the error by Harrison. He hit a rocket shot right at the feet of Josh. It exploded in front of him, and Harrison charged with a tough error. One ball, 1 strike. You watch some players step out of the batter's box or step back, and You're wondering, what are they thinking? When Votto steps out or steps back, you know the mind is always working. He's got a plan. Hit pretty good to left. Marte comes over, gets turned around, but makes the play. Great reaction by Marte. He got turned around, but still makes the play. The Reds strand a runner, still trail 1-0. Mo Egger from 700 WLW for the Reds fan cam this Friday night at the Holy Grail. It's your chance to answer Reds trivia, win great prizes, be part of Reds Live. Party starts at 6 this Friday at the Holy Grail. Even if you don't win, you can just sit and talk trivia with Mo, have a good time. Stop by the Holy Grail. Be a great week back home. The Reds play tomorrow here in Pittsburgh for the final of this 3-game set. Then it's the Giants coming to town. Johnny Cueto on Monday night. Tuesday night the Giants. Wednesday afternoon San Francisco game. Then Milwaukee, the Brew Crew, comes in for the first time. Then the Buccos will be back for 3. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the 9th, 10th, and the 11th. And the Reds will travel to Philadelphia and back-to-back with Cleveland. Well, what a week for the Indians. 3 walk-off losses for the Cleveland Indians this week. Tito's got to be pulling out his hair. Oh, wait a minute, he doesn't have any.
Don't you wish you had the poncho concession tonight?
You're always thinking. You're always thinking.
Now, they didn't have any Reds ponchos, and that family right there is going to refuse to wear Pirates gear. They're going to sit there in their Reds gear and get wet. You got to like loyalty.
Love it.
In fact, you love loyalty.
She's saying, let's get up. He's saying, we're not moving. Back to the top of the order for the Buccos. Now they were smart. They brought theirs with them. I learned a lesson early in my baseball career. No balls, 1 strike. Here's John Jaso, who homered first time up on the first pitch he saw to give the Pirates a 1-0 lead. I sat with Frank Malzone, the great Red Sox third baseman, and it started to rain. I didn't have anything. Frank had his wrapped up parka, his rain gear with him, and he had a second one. He says, here, this is for you. And you know, every time I'd see him, he'd be scouting in spring training. I still carried that with me. We lost him this past year. What a great baseball man, Frank Malzone. What a great scout too. He was a great player, but what a great scout. By the way, Chris, want to say hi to one of the Reds' greatest scouts, Gino the Bambino, Gene Bennett down in Portsmouth. Talked to him today. He said, make sure you say hi to my lefty.
Oh, what a guy.
Swing and a miss. Good bounce back from Simon after giving up the homer first time up. He strikes out Jaso here, or Simon. That's his third strikeout.
Looks like he pulled the string on this pitch, had a 2-2 count, and then drives that changeup straight down in the zone.
Here's McCutchen, who was Simon's first strikeout victim. He struck him out looking on a 3-2 pitch. You talked earlier about tools, and all three of the Pirate outfielders have plus tools, every tool you can think of, both offensively and defensively. But sometimes the tools don't add up. In McCutchen's case, they add up into an MVP type player. Sometimes you have a great arm, but you don't throw people out, or you have speed and you don't steal bases, or you have power, but you don't get hits. And a guy like McCutchen's case, he puts them all together. 2-0. Who was in that lineup when you pitched for the first time at Riverfront?
Oh, you mean against the Reds?
Yeah.
There were a lot of good players in that lineup. I was more worried about our guys trying to get a hit off of Tom Seaver that night.
3-0 pitch misses. That's ball 4.
Yeah, McCutchen was hanging around a little bit extra on that pitch because, you know, he got rung up on a pitch he thought was up and out of the strike zone the first time. He was unsure whether Angel Hernandez may call that one a late strike. So 3 strikeouts and 3 walks here in the 3rd inning, or through the first 3 for Alfredo Simon.
2 former MVPs chatting down at first. Here's Freese. He was the first to receive a walk from Simon in the 1st inning. Freese is hit into a league leading 6 double plays. Simon would love one right here. Sometimes you get numbers like that. It's just a fluke. Other times because you hit the ball hard. Sometimes because you can't run. Little bigger lead for McCutchen. Not going.
For a big guy, and Alfredo Simon is certainly that. He's 6 feet 6 inches tall. He's very compact and quick to the plate. He'll mix in a slide step occasionally, but even his normal stretch position move to the plate is very quick. Gets his left leg up, the hip cocked, and goes to the dish.
McCutchen not going. That's wide. With Simon on the mound, 1 out of 4 base runners have been thrown out. With Barnhart behind the plate, he's been successful in shooting down 6 of the 9 who have tried to steal. McCutchen doesn't run as much as he used to. He's stolen 1 base this year, but been caught twice. Not going. 1-2.
I mean, you can be a big guy and be compact, and this is the way Alfredo does it. You see, he's already kind of sliding towards home as that left knee is coming up. At that point, you've already committed to commit a pitch to the plate. See a lot of young pitchers, they get that leg up there and they hang there for an extra period of time, and it just gives the runner at first base so much of an opportunity to get a big lead.
McCutchen not going. That breaking ball looked like it might even slipped out of his hand way up high, and it's 2-2.
In fact, really, if you're going to make a choice between having a compact and quick motion to the plate versus a quick motion and throw over to first base, you should take the one to the plate every time. Because smart runners aren't going to get picked off by right-handed pitchers. Unless that right-handed pitcher is named Johnny Cueto.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And it'll stay there, fouled at the plate by Freese again. Hurdle won't put on a lot of plays, but McCutchen always has a green light. Dave Joss, his bench coach, next to him. Not going. And we'll go full once again. 8 3-ball counts. Amazing. Added up 62 pitches here in the 3rd inning. There goes McCutchen, and this one bounced through the open hole on the right side. Going all the way to 3rd will be McCutchen, so it's 1st and 3rd with 1 out here in the 3rd. The job of hitting by Freese.
Well, as it turned out, Freese chased what would have been ball 4. So at the very best, the Reds would have hoped for having 1st and 2nd, but the fact that it went for a base hit allowed McCutchen to go to 3rd. Look at that pitch, was down and off the plate. And just to go, goes to show you how far Alfredo Simon missed his spot. Tucker Barnhart was set up on the inner part of the plate. So he was almost 2 feet off. You know, if you see where Barnhart is set up and you see where this pitch is, I mean, you're missing your target by close to 2 feet.
And here comes Marte, who struck out on a 3-2 pitch in the 1st. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Marte has bounced into 4 double plays. Unlikely for him with his speed. But realistically, say very difficult to double up.
You hit it hard enough, they'll turn it on you.
Yep. And he hits it hard. Double play depth. Cozart, Phillips, middle of the infield. Good spot again. He's saved some of his best pitches for Marte.
You know, it almost appears as Starling Marte has a blind spot on that spot where they're trying to throw the ball, and they have had him swing right through it. Seemingly hittable pitches 2 times right in a row.
He just did hang in there, fouls it off, stays 0-2. Well, one of the reasons why they won 5 in a row. They've performed well on this last road trip, and 375 overall with runners in scoring position in the last 10 days. Simon to the stretch. Here's the 0-2. That's almost the identical spot last night where Marte reached out on an 0-2 pitch and blooped one into right. Dribble foul again, and the pitch count continues to mount for the Reds right-hander. Approaching 70 pitches. We're here in the third inning.
Now that's really for Brian Price to worry about, not Alfredo Simon. Simon is worried about the runner at third base, trying to leave him out there, and of course especially the runner at first. Reds have not been able to solve much with Liriano on the night, so if Simon's out there, he's thinking this is going to be a low scoring game. I can't afford to give them very much.
One ball, two strikes. Yes, missing low, and it's 2-2.
Boy, after throwing those first two fastballs right in the spot where he wanted it, he's gone outside. He's missed with a breaking ball. That was an off-speed pitch there that he tried to throw. They may just want to go right back to that bread and butter pitch right here.
Rain continuing to drizzle down here at PNC Park in the third. First and third for the Pirates with one out. Hasn't been heavy, but it has been steady. He got him. 70th pitch of the ball game, and it's a strikeout, his fourth of the night, and there's your second out.
Looked like Simon took a little bit off this pitch. I can't say it was a changeup. I guess it was a changeup. We've got it listed at 87 miles an hour, and the bottom just drops out of it. You know, the changeup is so effective, whether it comes from a righty or a lefty, as long as it catches the plate. If it's outside and never looks like a strike, it's not an effective pitch. But a changeup can bounce in front of home plate and be effective, because when it comes out of your hand, it looks like it's got a chance to be a strike.
So here's Cervelli, who walked first time up. He's been solid for the Pirates the last 2 years with runners in scoring position. Again, this year he's right around 300 at 294. He and Harrison, the two best that the Pirates have, with the runners in scoring position. This one down to second. Phillips flips over to Votto, and that'll do it. In spite of the wet dirt, wet grass, Phillips makes the play that ends the inning. Couple stranded. Phillips will lead it off, and we return. Star Wars weekend at Great American Ballpark, May the 6th through the 8th. Sunday, May the 8th. Bring the family and enjoy live mascot races, face painters, games, and a whole lot more. Plus, all kids 14 and younger get a Star Wars themed Fathead thanks to PNC Bank. For tickets, call 513-38-REDS or visit reds.com. Reds back to work as we go to the top of the fourth. Phillips, Duvall, and Bruce due up. Reds have a couple of hits through the first two, one by Suarez and a single by Phillips to center field in the first inning. So Brandon will lead it off. Liriano had two base runners in the first. Votto reached on the error by Harrison and the Phillips base hit. And a single by Suarez. He's left all three stranded. Liriano, a native of the Dominican Republic, originally made it to the major leagues as a member of the Minnesota Twins, although he was originally signed by the Giants some 16 years ago. Minnesota picked him up in 2003 along with Joe Nathan in the deal that sent A.J. Brzezinski to San Francisco. And there was a period of time, Chris, where it looked like he was going to be maybe one of the best top 2 or 3 starters in the American League. He was 12-3 in 2006 and then had Tommy John surgery, and he was slow to bounce back, and really wasn't until he came to Pittsburgh in 2013 that he won 16 that he got his career back on track. And that was due to a lot of work on his part and a lot of work with the current pitching coach here, Ray Searage. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The 0 was Brandon Phillips. McCutchen didn't like the call up and in, and he got rung up. Phillips, the same story. Angel Hernandez will let him jaw a little bit. Here's strikeout number 4 for Liriano.
I can see Brandon not agreeing with that, because maybe he's just trying to explain to Angel Hernandez that ball's simply too high. The halfway point between the shoulders and the belt is the upper end of the strike zone.
There's a big swing by Duvall and a great play at the other end by Freese. Well, Duvall hit it right on the button, but David Freese gobbled it up and throws him out for the second out. Tough hop. Good reaction by the Pirate third baseman. Clint Hurdle had an interesting comment relative to Freese. He said it's great to have him on this club. He fits in well in the clubhouse and on the field. And there's a shot back through the middle, backhanded by Mercer, and they'll get Bruce by a step. 2 outstanding defensive plays by the Pirates, robbing Reds of potential hits, and the Reds go 1-2-3. Polanco will lead it off. is being brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. And by Cincinnati Children's, ranking 3rd in the country on United States News Best Children's Hospital. Great to have you with us here in the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. George Grant, Chris Welch, Jim Day will be checking in a little while as the grounds crew here tries to put a little quick dry on the infield and rake it through. The rain continues to come down. Not a heavy rain, but a steady drizzle. But we're into the 4th inning. To the bottom of 4 we go. The Pirates on a leadoff home run on the first pitch he saw. John Jaso in the first, lead it 1-0. Alfredo Simon has thrown a lot of pitches through 3. He goes to work here in the 4th. It'll be his 72nd pitch. Polanco, Harrison, and Jordy Mercer due up. Under the glove of the pitcher, scooped up by Cozart, and they'll get Polanco by a step.
You'll take that out any day of the week when you're Alfredo Simon facing a team that this year has been very conservative at the plate, very judicious about what they're swinging at. In fact, they see more pitches, the Pirates do, than any other team in the National League, maybe any other team in baseball.
We want to make sure you get a good view of the field. I wonder if they check the oil too. Here's Harrison, 8-game hitting streak on the line, bounced to short first time up.
It's the Pirates is what we're talking about here. 3,809 pitches coming into this game tonight.
Got in on him a little bit, and Hamilton will track it down.
What we don't show you on that leaderboard is every team in the National League, and if you go all the way down the bottom of the standings in that, the number of pitches that you see as a team, the Reds are the last in the National League. Of course, the Pirates have taken on maybe a different strategy this year as far as trying to work the opposition. But nearly 700 pitches, in fact, a little bit more than 700 pitches more, have the Pirates seen in the same number of games than have the Reds seen, the hitters, that is.
And really, Chris, the other team that we've seen a lot of already this year is the Chicago Cubs, and they bought into Joe Maddon's plan, which is very similar. Much more selective than they were 2 years ago. You've seen a change over the last 2.5 seasons.
Well, their young players are getting a little bit more experience. It's hard to tell a young player go up there and be, be patient at the plate, because you're going to look up and there are going to be no balls and 2 strikes, and a batting average of 130 on 0-2 counts not going to cut it.
But adding a Ben Zobrist and veteran hitters makes that easier. There's Mercer on base for 11 straight games, bounced to 3rd first time up. He's been fairly successful against Simon, 318 in his career and a homer. Alfredo, a lengthy first inning with 2 walks and 4 3-ball counts, and a lengthy 3rd inning, trying to be judicious here in the 4th. I don't know how that didn't hit him. I think Mercer feels the same way.
No, actually, it was a changeup, and that gave Mercer just maybe an extra split second to recognize that and spin out of the way.
Center field, here comes Hamilton, and he doesn't hold on. It'll go as a base hit. Boy, he closed on that fast. Didn't look like he had a chance to get it. Oh, a base hit for Mercer, now on base 11 straight games.
Billy Hamilton plays a fearless center field. He never really worries about the ball getting by him. He's always going to try to make the catch in the air if he can possibly do that. That ball actually hit before it got to his glove, but no matter, he got his body in the way and he was able to smother it.
And it's a lot more difficult to be fearless when you've injured your shoulder a couple of times. But
and your hand.
Yeah, he continues to do it. Here's Liriano, line to right field first time up. Came in hitting 400s, had a pretty good offensive year thus far. Ball and a strike to the Pirate pitcher. Mercer short lead down at first, not going anywhere. This one hit the left, and that's a base hit. Liriano's having already his most productive offensive year. So 2 quick outs and now 2 quick hits. 2 on, 2 outs, and here comes Jaso.
Well, when Liriano was first signed, in fact, when he was scouted down in the Dominican Republic, he was an outfielder who made excellent contact, did not have a lot of power. His favorite player growing up was Ken Griffey Jr. But when the Giants signed him out of a tryout camp in the Dominican Republic, it didn't take them long to move him to the mound.
Here's Jaso, homered to make it 1-0 in the first pitch he saw in the first, and then struck out in the third. Jaso, now 32 years of age, native of California. Originally came up with Tampa back in 2008, on to Seattle, and then 2 years in Oakland before back with Tampa last year. Solid offensive player. Hit 286 last year. Just had a career high year of 10 homers.
Well, he takes a lot of walks and he doesn't strike out very much. So his on base percentage is always way up there compared to his batting average.
Third in the league right now on toughest to fan. That's a strike. 2-1. They wondered how he would handle first base defensively, and he went through the month of March fine, and he's been solid in this first month of the season as well. Rip, but foul. His stance will vary, and you see how wide he starts now. In the dirt. Another 3-ball count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Many hitters, Chris, who start like this, I mean, Andres Galarraga was one of them, way wide open. When they get to 2 strikes, will shorten up and close up, but he doesn't.
No, he doesn't do that much. There's a lot of movement there going on for Jaso, but it's worked for him in a pretty good major league career that started in 2008.
Two on, 2 out. Runners will be off and hustling. That's in the dirt. It'll kick away. And coming to the plate will be Simon. So ball 4. Simon will cover the plate. But for Simon, that is free pass number 4. And the bases are loaded here in the 4th. The inning started off harmlessly. with 2 quick outs, but then 2 singles in the walk, and they're loaded for McCutchen. Mark Riggins out to talk to his big, tall right-hander. And for the first time, they're starting to rustle around in the Reds bullpen. And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. So here's McCutchen, who struck out looking on a disputed pitch in the first and then walked on a 3-2 pitch in the third.
You know, you always ask yourself, how many grand slams does a guy like McCutchen have? You'd think that he would have a bunch of them. He has not yet hit a grand slam in his very illustrious major league career. I am stunned by that.
Yeah, me too. Hopefully you're jinxing him. They're loaded here in the fourth. Simon against the former MVP. Fouled at the plate. On the year, McCutchen does have 5 homers. 3 of them, of course, came this past week in 1 game in Colorado. On the season, 10 runs batted in. For his career, the most lethal hitter in his lineup against the Reds. 25 homers and 60 knocked in his career against Cincinnati. Three hopper down to short. They'll flip to second, and that'll do it. So Simon gets the pitch he needed, but not before he passes the 90 pitch mark. He's due up second when we return.
Updating you on the minor league pitchers. Let's check out the hitters at AAA Louisville with our steel power tool performers and Jesse Winker, Jose Peraza, the top 2 position prospects in the Reds organization, doing exactly what the Reds hoped they would do. So far, Winker .319, couple home runs, 15 runs driven in. This was before tonight, so coming into tonight's ball game. And Winker with a above 400 on base percentage. Jose Peraza's played shortstop, second, center field down there above 300, and his on base percentage is good as well. George and Chris, it's not if they stay healthy, it's not a question of if, but when we will see these 2 youngsters.
Yeah, JD, and you know, you had a chance to see them all spring long. Of course, Jesse was sidetracked a little bit after that collision. But for Reds fans who haven't had a chance to see a lot of them, what impressed you the most about Peraza, and what impressed you the most about Winker?
Well, Peraza is just one of those guys that you could label as a ball player, particularly playing shortstop, second, and center field. Just a grinder, a guy that passes the eye test. When you watch him hit, you can see that he is a major league type hitter. Winker is just a flat out pure hitter. His swing is beautiful. Might be limited in the field, might be just a left fielder, we'll see, but tremendous work ethic and a great kid if you ever meet him. You've talked to him, George, several times, so good makeup for Jesse Winker, both of them.
Kind of like Jim Day, huh, Chris?
You better believe it.
Mold.
But can they be like Jim Day and be every day?
Every day. Barnhart loops this one to right. Polanco got it. Tucker Barnhart's retired, grounded out first time, flies out here. You know, and Chris, you had a chance to spend some time with Lou Piniella out in Arizona when we were with Lou for opening day, and he joined us. We sat and talked, and then after the game we spent some time together, and I said, you know, who are the players that the young players that you like the most? And right away he said Jesse Winker. He said, you know what I look for? I look for bat speed. And he said he's got bat speed, and Peraza falls into the same mold. I don't think there's any doubt that, you know, there was a debate with Dick Williams and Walt Jocketty and the coaching staff as well about, do you keep Peraza at the start of the year? I mean, he could help this club, but the feeling was you need to put him down there, let him play every day, let him grow, so that if you do need him, you bring him up and he's ready to play. You
know, it's frustrating for the fans because you've heard about, you know, Jesse Winker for so long, and now you've heard about Peraza, you know, one of the main keys that the Reds got in their trades last year, and you're anxious to see these players.
This one thrown down the first base line, so Simon will try to go to second, and
they got it.
He is out. They tagged his hand. Unbelievable. There was nobody covering the bag, and finally the catch was made, and they tagged his hand before he got to the bag. Here's a look. Jaso pops up, and here's your throw.
Well, Jaso remembers a former catcher, and he just comes up firing right there, and Simon trying to get in there to second base. That could have been a situation of the Reds being a little bit too greedy right there.
So we'll see how it's scored. It'll probably go as an
error on the catcher.
Error on the catcher, not a base hit and then an error, because he never did get to second. So it'll probably go as an E2. So Simon retired after the ball was thrown down the first base line. Give Jaso credit, he didn't quit on it. And Mercer, I don't think, expected a play, and finally slapped the tag on.
Well, Simon didn't expect the play. I mean, there's still kind of a quizzical look on his face right now. So how they get that ball so quickly? I'm not sure when he made his decision to go, or whether he was encouraged to go by the first base coach Freddie Benavides.
So E2, and then 3-6 is the putout. And that's into center field. Billy Hamilton is on. So Billy gets his first base hit. That's the third hit for the Reds.
Billy will tell you, and everybody that has seen Billy play a lot will tell you, that he feels more comfortable right-handed than left.
So we'll see if Hamilton will be off and running. He's stolen 32 against the Pirates, been caught only 6 times. Liriano's had 2 stolen bases against him, and he hasn't caught a hitter yet.
Well, last year, a better indication, 11 stolen bases against Liriano, 2 throw 'em outs. Year before that, 19 up and 5 down. So you can run on him.
That's a strike.
And he's not necessarily the type of left-hander that you have to make a move on his very first move. You can wait till he shows he's going to the plate and then go, because he's a little bit deliberate.
Cervelli's thrown out 25% of those who have tried to steal against him,
which is around league average.
Billy Bluff's going, not going. Down to third, past the effort by Freese into the corner. Here comes Billy. They're going to send him. Hatcher sends him around third, coming to the plate. He is safe. He got the hand in. He's safe. Great slide by Billy Hamilton. It was a great relay and throw to the plate. A good effort to tag by Cervelli. but Hamilton got the left hand in just prior to the tag. Clint Hurdle has come out to the top step waiting to see if they'll challenge, and now he heads back down to the dugout. Another look.
Good relay by the Pirates right here. Mercer gets it, turns and fires immediately, and it's on the money. But I mean, just outran the baseball like he usually does as Billy Hamilton. Hatcher's not going to hold him up, I don't think, all year long.
So it goes as a double and a run batted in for Zach Cozart. Cozart picks up his 9th run batted in. And now the game tied, and the go-ahead runner sitting out at second.
And meanwhile, Cozart really stung that baseball.
Great slide by Billy.
You know, that's the type of play, George, that you don't see if Major League Baseball has not changed the rule about blocking home plate. Because with Hamilton coming around third and Cervelli having all that equipment on, he'd have just planted his body in front of home plate in a situation like that, and Hamilton would never have gotten to the base. So that's how that rule has changed a little bit of happenings that go on there around home and tagging the runner.
So with 2 away, Cozart off second, and here's Suarez, who flied out and singled. Here's the 1-1 pitch to him. That's a strike. So everybody did their job. Marte, a perfect throw to the shortstop Mercer. Mercer, a perfect throw to the plate. Good effort to tag. A perfect slide by Billy, and called correctly by the umpire, Angel Hernandez. This one bloop, but fouled on the first base line. And we were fortunate to watch Deion Sanders when he came over and played with the Reds, Chris. He was fast, but Billy's just unbelievable. He's from another planet. Just amazing.
I'm still trying to determine really who's faster on the base pass, be it Deion or Billy Hamilton. Billy Hamilton has much more baseball instinct than Deion did. But Deion, man, I saw him go from first to third on a ground ball back to the pitcher.
To the pitcher.
That's pretty quick.
That was.
Of course, I've seen Billy Hamilton score on a pop-up to an infielder, which was turned into a sacrifice fly.
It wide is short. Mercer pops up, and they'll get Suarez by a step.
Yeah, that guy is playing
nice play by the shortstop for the Buccos. Another look at the Hamilton Express. We're tied at 1. Service delivers everything you've come to expect and a whole lot more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Over 400 supported devices. How many of those you got, Chris?
2, 3.
That's all you need. Here we go to the bottom of 5. David Freese will lead it off. Simon still in there. Will face Freese, Marte, and Cervelli. David walked in the first and singled to right in the third. On a 3-2 pitch with McCutchen running from first, he popped one through the right side of the infield. Well, the play in defensively, Chris, is even more impressive from Marte to the shortstop Mercer to home plate, considering it's been raining all night. The grass was wet. The ball had to be wet as it rolled all the way into the corner. This one dribbled down to third. They will let it go, and it finally will go foul.
Calling a foul ball.
Wow. Good effort, because there's no way they were going to throw him out. And I think it was Suarez yelling at Simon to let it go, let it go. And it finally did roll foul.
And then Simon picked the ball up before the home plate umpire could come out and inspect it and really determine whether there was a little bit of that baseball hanging over the edge of that line. I'll tell you what, just because the bottom of the baseball is not touching the line, if the side of the baseball is hanging over any part of that line, it's a fair ball. And it was a good move by Simon to get it out of there before you put it under a microscope.
Line drive into center field, a base hit. So Freese gets another pitch and delivers a base hit. His second hit. He's 2 for 2 and a walk. And you got to figure, Chris, in this inning, Simon will have a short leash.
Well, the most he's thrown this year is 92 pitches coming into this ball game. Next one will be 96.
There's Marte, 2 strikeouts on the night. Where was Lenny Randle when you need him? Blowing that ball down the third base line as a Texas Ranger, right? Oh, did that hit the bat or his hand?
That got his hand, and you could hear it all the way up here.
Man.
And we're on the 6th level.
Well, these two teams certainly have a history. They've hit each other 37 times each in the last 4 years. Right on the top of the hand. Another look. Another look at it, real speed. Listen. Wow. I mean, it almost sounded as if it hit the bat. That's how hard it hit him. And you remember, I think it was 3 years ago or 4 years ago that Marte was hit, missed a good chunk of the season, and that was the first of those gloves that so many players wear now. They made it special. Hurdle had one made especially for Marte to protect the hand as he came back and played the final month of the season. And now almost everybody wears that glove down at first to prevent hand injury sliding.
You know, there are a lot of people out there that aren't clear on the rule as to whether the hands, if the ball hits you on the hands or the fingers while you're at the plate, whether it's a hit by pitch or whether it's a foul ball. And it is a hit by pitch. And the way you remember that, and I remember Ted Barrett talking to me about this, is you go into a sporting goods store and look at all the bats that are hanging up. Are there any hands attached to them? If the answer is no, that means the hands, if you get hit in the hand, it is a hit by pitch. Oh. So the Pirates have asked for a review. They're saying that it was
Evidently,
a foul ball. Angel Hernandez called it a foul ball.
Yep.
And the Pirates think it ought to be a hit by pitch.
Well, the other side of that is if it hit the bat and the hand, it is a foul ball. I mean, the sound of it sounded like bat. Looking at the replay that we've seen so far, it looked like it hit the hand. Here, let's take a look at it here. Yep, got his hand, but it hit the bottom of the bat.
Now his finger, though, is lapped over the bottom of the bat, the knob at the bat. This is going to be overturned.
Well, back in New York, Ted Barrett, Angel Hernandez listening in New York. They're looking at every possible replay. The best view is probably that side view that you just saw. Hit on the hand, he goes to first. So hit by pitch. Going to first is Marte, and Marte is still trying to talk himself into staying in the game, and they want to make sure he's okay, and he does stay in. Right on the knuckle, it looks like, on that left hand.
Now, if a batter swings and he misses the baseball, but the ball hits him on the hands, that will be a strike.
That's a strike.
And not a hit by pitch.
So Marte's on. Ahead of him is Freese. So there's two on, nobody out. And here comes Cervelli. Cervelli walked and robbed of a hit on a nice play by Brandon Phillips. I mean, he's been effective with runners in scoring position, but don't rule out that he'll drop a bunt down here. On his own or via a decision from his manager. In tight is Suarez at third. Cozart trying to keep the runner tied at second. At the same time, Phillips manning short in a modified double play combo. This one blooped into center. That's going to drop for a hit. Here comes Freese around third. He's coming to the plate and he'll score. So the Reds had to battle to tie the game, and just like that, a single, a hit batter, and a base hit by Cervelli, and the lead belongs to the Pirates again, 2-1.
Now Cervelli's a strong guy, and if you're going to come in on him, you better come in off the plate. Short arms, very strong wrists, and he's able to muscle that ball into center field. And now a Brian Price trip to the mound. And that will be all for Alfredo Simon.
98 pitches for Simon on the night. And while the pitching change takes place, we'll take time out for these messages. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Time for our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen.
comes on for Cincinnati. Let's flash you back to spring training last year. He was a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks. You remember the Will Ferrell day in which he played 9 different positions for 9 different teams in one day? Well, he played left field for the Diamondbacks against the Reds, and J.C. Ramirez was the pitcher on the hill for Arizona that day. And he says it was one of the biggest nightmares of his life because everyone was trying to hit it to left field to Will Ferrell. J.C. admits he did not have his best stuff on that day. It was a long half inning, and we all felt for him, but all eyes were on Will Ferrell on that day. But now he's got a tough situation to deal with as well, with 2 Pirates on.
Told you, JD, last year we got to get you and Uni out there. So here's Ramirez. Red's still not out of the jam yet. Polanco at the plate, facing Ramirez with great speed at second and Marte, and Cervelli down at first. So the Reds battle all the way back to tie it at 1, and just like that, the Buccos take the lead back. You've seen a lot of moments, Chris, that was a fun moment for Will Ferrell when he did play.
I'm glad he had a good time. I know they made a big deal out of it. A lot of people that were involved thought it was a fun day, and why not?
There's Polanco 0 for 2. That's inside. Sawed him off. It's a fair ball. They'll get it out, but no more than that. So serves almost as a sacrifice bunt. They move the runners over. Now second and third on the play by Votto, and that'll bring up Josh Harrison. Harrison tonight bounced to short, fly to center, sitting on an 8-game hitting streak. The Reds with only 1 out will bring the infield in. Last 3 or 4 years, Harrison has played just about everywhere, all around the infield. He's played the outfield. This year's different with Neil Walker traded to New York. 23 of the first 24 games he's played second base. And he's been productive, hitting over 300 with 14 runs batted in.
Well, there's no question that the Pirates missed the left-handed hitting of Neil Walker. Walker being a switch hitter, but he really gave them some pop left-handed. Of course, they lost Alvarez as well, but Walker's the guy that you want to fill up in the lineup. Harrison gives you much more range at second base defensively than what Neil Walker gave you.
1 ball, 1 strike, waves at that 1 and 2.
But he does bat right-handed, so you know this Pirate team this year, and I've said it before, to me they just look a little bit too right-handed, and they can fall for a right-handed pitcher with a good slider.
Ramirez to the stretch. Here's the 1-2, down and away, misses. 2-2. See the numbers offensively, and if you chart that out defensively, the 143 games in 2014 were spent in 6 different positions. High in the air to right, tagging at third is Marte. Bruce too deep. They'll probably go to third, and they'll hold the runner. The run will score. No chance to get the speedy Marte, so Josh Harrison doesn't get a base hit, but he again delivers against the Reds. His sacrifice fly plates another, and it's 3-1 Pittsburgh.
You know, that pitch was a fastball that Josh Harrison hit out there to right field. He had one of the worst swings you'll see him ever take in this at bat, previously in the at bat, on a slider. And when Ramirez missed on the slider a second time, I think Tucker Barnhart thought, well, rather than him missing a third time or taking a chance of maybe him hanging one, we'll go with the fastball there. And Harrison was able to put it in play to get a fly ball.
So Cervelli still sitting at second with first base open and Mercer at the plate. They'll walk him intentionally and deal to Liriano, who's hit the ball hard twice. A line drive to right for an out and a base hit to left. So here comes the Pirate pitcher. Liriano in the second with 2 outs, lined one into the alley that Bruce made a running catch on about 380 feet away. And then in the fourth, with a runner on first, he singles sharply to left. Facing Ramirez from the stretch. Short lead for Cervelli at second. This one looped to the left side, but out of play. Strike one. Average speed at second in Cervelli. And the Reds midway in all 3 outfield spots, so a base hit they might not even send Cervelli, and if they do, they got a good chance to throw him out. Down to first, but foul. Liriano, in addition to coming into today hitting .400, is 2 for 5 with runners in scoring position. So he's delivered a couple of times. From the stretch, JC. Swing and a miss, and he got him, but the Buccos score a pair. Pittsburgh 3, the Reds 1 as we head to the 6th.
To a galaxy far, far away, May 6th through the 8th, when the Reds host Star Wars Weekend at the ballpark. Friday, May 6th, the first 20,000 fans will receive a Star Wars poster, plus stick around for a post-game fireworks show. Catch all the Star Wars and Reds actions for as low as $12. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit Reds.com. May the Force be with George Grant.
All right.
And Chris Welsh.
Well, it's Chris Welsh right now. The Pirates lead at 3-1, and Francisco Liriano goes out there for the 6th time. He'll face Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, and Adam Duvall, the middle of the lineup for Brian Price and company. The Reds got their solo run in the last inning when Billy Hamilton got a base hit that came around to score on a Zach Kozar double. Other than that, Liriano has been pretty much on top of his game tonight. First time he's led off Votto with the first pitch off speed pitch. And a called strike.
There's Joey. Joey first time up, reached on an error on a hard shot at the second baseman Harrison. Line to left on a nice play by Marte in the 3rd. And he leads it off here in inning number 6. He buckled him with that breaking ball, didn't he?
That's nasty right there.
So that's strikeout number 5 for Liriano. Votto retired. And here comes Phillips. Phillips singled in the 1st and struck out looking in the 4th. Center field on his horse McCutchen, looking up, and he'll squeeze it at the warning track. Hit right on the button by Phillips, but on a night like this, those fly balls aren't going anywhere, Chris.
Well, if they don't leave the ballpark, they don't have much of a chance of falling in with this outfield. This is about the most athletic outfield. Of course, the Cubs may say that about their 3 that they have playing out there. They're excellent as far as covering a lot of distance. And right now, the Pirates are right with them. Kind of interesting because there are some people that would say this outfield the Pirates have would even be better if McCutchen played left field and Starling Marte went to center field.
Which at some point may happen.
Well, they moved McCutchen out of the number 3 spot into the number 2 spot.
Another analytical switch to the way the Pirates approach their lineup off the foot of Duvall for a foul ball. Adam flied to center and hit a rocket down to 3rd. It took a wicked hop on Freese. Freese made the play to throw him out in the 4th. Big innings have been so hard to come by for the Reds, and it's translated on the road to only 1 victory so far. 1 in 9 are the Reds on the road, and it seems every time they get a lead, it's a run here, a run there, and the opposition scores in bunches. So they'll have to come back in this one again, trailing 3-1 here in the 6th. And if you joined us late, a couple of news and notes. Number 1, Raisel Iglesias will not pitch tomorrow. He's been sent back to Cincinnati to have his shoulder checked. The Reds have not announced. They'll do it after the game on officially who will start tomorrow. That's a strike. I called it a ball. It looked like right on the inside corner, but it is a ball, 1-2. And Devin Mesoraco, Chris, not 100%. Not the hip this time, but the shoulder, the left shoulder, which bothers him when he hits.
It's a shame that he just can't get himself completely healthy. Reds are missing one of the middle of the order guys when he's not around and in the lineup.
You put him in this lineup against his lefty today, he'd make a big difference. Here's the 1-2. That's a strike.
Another high one.
Well, they've been barking on both sides. That's 6 strikeouts for Liriano, going to the bottom of 6. On television, you can now stream Reds games live on your mobile device. Just go to your app store and download the free Fox Sports Go app. Log in and stream the Reds wherever you go. If you're not home tomorrow, hope you join us. We'll be on the air with Reds Live at 1 o'clock. Game will follow at 1:30. The final of these 3 games in Pittsburgh. When the night started and you looked at the radar, you didn't think there was much hope of getting this one in. That gets past the pitcher. Phillips, bare hand, backhand. Did he get him? Yes. Backhanded by Brandon and a flip to Votto. We've seen him do it before, Chris, but every time he does it, it seems like an optical illusion.
I think he was figuring this out on the way to fielding the baseball, and he nearly faked out Joey Votto on this. Gets past the pitcher Ramirez. Here comes Brandon barehand, and the flip right there, and Votto makes a nice recovery to make sure he stays on the bag as he fields the ball.
Amazing.
And the dab at the end.
Thank you very much. Well, JD will have another one to put down in your list of favorites. Amazing. So Jaso's retired, 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th. Remarkable, huh, Chris?
He's a magician.
Yep. You know, we've had Brandon sit down with Jim and talk about his best plays and how he evaluated them. We got to get mom and dad to sit down with JD. His mom and dad.
I mean, they're watching all the time, and half the time they're in Cincinnati,
yep,
or they follow the team around where they're playing.
I want their list, because the way they live and die with every play and every at bat. I mean, you talk about love for your son and the way they've followed him over these years. And you know where the smile on Brandon Phillips' face comes from. It's from both his mom and dad. McCutcheon, a little bit of a tweak on his first swing.
He's grabbing that right knee. I don't know whether that's what's giving him the problem or not. But that was the swing that I referred to earlier about how big it's gotten. I mean, when McCutchen is on his game, it seems like it's very little effort into the swing. He uses a lot of hands. That swing, he used a lot of body, and he may have twisted that knee a little bit.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
George, I want to mention something that the umpires are doing. They've done it every year for the last 8 years, called the Umps Care online auction. And they've got all sorts of signed memorabilia and game-worn jerseys and cleats and all sorts of things that have been donated throughout Major League Baseball. For instance, Ken Griffey Jr. signed a ball, Derek Jeter a ball, Pedro Martinez a signed jersey from Bryce Harper. You can get online and you can buy these auction items, and all the money goes to the Umps Care charities, which is all youth and children-based charities. And you get online at MLB.com/umpscare, and the auction closes on Monday. So there's a lot of good stuff still up there right now, and they do a lot in conjunction with Major League Baseball for children's charities.
Quick feet by Barnhart, and he nails Freese at first. First time the Reds have gotten Freese out tonight, a walk and 2 base hits. See if the Reds can come up with some offense. They trail 3-1 going to 7th. Here to stick around for Reds Live, brought to you by Performance Kings Honda, for a complete recap and interviews from the locker room. Guys will be by with the complete story after this one. Brian Giesenslaw, Jeff Pecoro under the tutelage of Matt Sigafus back in the studios in Cincinnati. Hopefully we'll have a smiling side of the scoreboard to report on. And by the way, Chris, we were just looking online. Yes. Yeah, I know you don't want to talk about it. But that game that you pitched against Seaver, your first game at Riverfront Stadium when you came back as a San Diego Padre.
I forgot that Tom Seaver gave up 7 runs in that game and got the win. I didn't get the loss. I pitched 6 innings, gave up 3 runs.
But that was, I mean, that's a good outing.
Well, it was a quality start, although they didn't know what that was back then.
I think Eric Shaw got the loss. You left. What, Davey Collins was 3 for 4.
Yeah. That guy.
He could motor, huh?
He was a pest. Very pesky.
There's Jay Bruce. Bruce tonight struck out, robbed of a hit on a nice play by the shortstop Mercer in the 4th. Jay rejoined the club yesterday after his maternity leave, with Hannah giving birth to their first baby, Carter. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Talking to him today. Said, how was it? He said, I got more sleep last night than I got the last 3 nights combined. Welcome, right, Chris, when you hit the road.
You know, I get used to it.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how you can function on 3 hours.
Yep.
When you're used to 13. It's really interesting, I think, the way the Pirates shift their defense when Bruce gets 2 strikes on him. They played him almost straight up until 2 strikes, and then they moved everybody over to the right side except the shortstop.
2-2. And that got him. So Bruce hit by a pitch. He marches down to first. That'll bring the tying run to the plate. Tucker Barnhart.
Just coming in with a fastball and did not want to miss out over the plate to Jay Bruce and just clipped him on the elbow.
So Jay's on. Here's Barnhart. Bounced to third. Flied to right. 0 for 2. Up and away, and it looked like Liriano slipped on the mound. They've been out twice to spread the quick dry around the mound, around home plate, and around the bases, but it's been raining all night. It hasn't been off and on. It's been a steady drizzle all night long, and I mean, it's somewhat remarkable that the game has been played so well defensively with the way the weather has been affecting it. That'll be wide for a ball. Slap foul and out of play. Three runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Pirates. A run, 4 hits, no errors for the Reds on this night. He joined us late. Alfredo Simon went 4+ innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned. Struck out 4, walked 4, 98 pitches. Misses down and in, 3 balls and a strike. And they're starting to rustle around and stretch in the Pirates bullpen now. Center field, back at the warning track, reaching up. Does he hold on? Yes, he does. McCutchen, a long run, got a glove on it, stumbled but held on to prevent extra bases and possibly a run for the Reds. And he looks a little shaken up after that catch.
That's a dandy of a catch right there. We're going to see it and then see him slide down.
Great catch by the center fielder for the Pirates. Bruce had gone all the way to second, retreats and winds up back at first. So the first out of the inning. So instead of at least second and third with nobody out, there's the runner at first and 1 out.
I'll tell you, Barnhart has been hitting the ball very solidly of late.
Here's Pacheco, who will pinch hit in the pitcher spot, 8th in the lineup. With Bruce still down at first. That misses up and in.
Starting to rain harder.
Pacheco trying to keep the Reds rally alive here in inning number 7. Liriano to the stretch.
Pacheco hit a double and a pinch hit roll last night.
The only run the Reds came up with was a pinch hit double by Pacheco and then a double by Barnhart that produced a run in the 9th. Liriano to the stretch. Bruce off first. That's a strike. 2-1.
Pacheco's done a nice job off the bench, especially in the pinch hitting role. He's only had 8 times to the plate that way, but he's had 3 base hits. That's a .375 batting average.
This one blooped towards right. Here comes Polanco. He holds on. Well, we talked about it at the start of the series, Chris, and it rears its ugly head for the Reds again. The speed and athletic ability of this defensive outfield in this inning alone has been a major factor.
Well, I think there's 2 factors going on here, George. One is the positioning of the outfield, and then the other is the athleticism.
So a 2 away, and Bruce still at first. Here comes Hamilton. Billy bounced out, singled to center in the 5th, and then scored on a double by Cozart. And now for tonight's cricket, something to smile about. Watching number 6 speed around the bases and just elude the tag. And he keeps running all the way into the dugout for high fives. That's their 1 Reds run of the night. Long look down at Billy Hatcher in the third base coach's box, and he steps back in. Here's the 2-0 delivery. Dribble down to third. Freeze will put it in his pocket. It'll be another infield hit for Billy. So Hamilton gets a base hit. That puts the tying runs on. Back to the top of the order, Cozart, who doubled in the Reds' tying run in the 5th.
Now the Pirates have had a bullpen working here, thinking that if Liriano can't get out of this inning, and that's going to be extended with that base hit by Billy Hamilton. So Clint Hurdle makes his way to the mound after Billy Hamilton gets congratulations from Freddie Benavides, and Liriano will leave, and we'll get a new pitcher.
Liriano will exit to a nice ovation. He pitches 6+, 6 2/3, leaves with a 3-1 lead while the pitching change takes place. We'll take time out for these messages. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Gets congratulations from his teammates. He exits with a 3-1 lead and 2 outs here in the 7th inning, and more often than not at home. When he starts at home, they come up with a win. Most consecutive home starts with a Pittsburgh victory. Vern Law, the great Deacon, 16 wins. Liriano has won 12 straight home starts, trying for number 13 here tonight. And Bob Walk, who sits in the broadcast booth a couple of booths away from us on that list at 11. Well, here's Neftali Feliz, who will take over. First pitch swing in is Cozart. He pops it up into center. Who's going to take charge? Polanco will. And the Reds will strand a pair. They've stranded 6 and still trail it 3-1. For a Honda game summary. First pitch that John Jaso saw from Alfredo Simon. He drilled for his first homer of the year. 1-0 Buccos in the first. That's the way it stayed until the 5th. After Billy Hamilton singled, he scored all the way from first on this Zach Cozart double into the left field corner on a great slide by Billy. We were tied at 1. But right after that, Cervelli comes back in the 5th after a single and a hit batsman. Francisco singles to center. 2-1 the lead belonged to the Pirates. Had a sacrifice fly from Harrison, and that's where we are. 3 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Pirates. A run, 5 hits, no errors for the Reds. Cincinnati has stranded 6 and the Buccos have stranded 9. Alfredo Simon, the starter, 4+ innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 4 strikeouts, 4 walks, and 98 pitches. He stands to be the loser right now. Liriano left after 6 2/3. Another effective performance, and Reds fans are hoping that their team can rally here late, and they hope the bullpen can keep it right where it is.
Well, a good job already for the bullpen. J.C. Ramirez came in and did a nice job in the inning and 2/3 in which he make it the 2 innings that he pitched. And now it's over to Tony Cingrani. Game number 12 for this left-hander. This is not one of those one batter left-hander only guy. He's in here to pitch the entire inning. In fact, he's got 2 right-handers and then Gregory Polanco, scheduled left-hander, up in the inning.
Your report card on Simon tonight, Chris?
Well, 4 innings, 4 walks, 3 runs. That's the report card.
A lot of pitches, 98 in that 4 innings of work.
You know, part of that is the Pittsburgh Pirates. The other part of that is he had plenty good enough stuff to attack the strike zone a little bit better than he did. He just didn't look like he had good feel of his slider tonight. And he didn't look like he wanted to make a mistake with it, and he nibbled with it too much. Really, with some of those pitchers that are on the horizon, hopefully soon ready to come off the disabled list and join the rotation, you're really not sure how long into this summer Alfredo Simon will be a starter.
Well, his great value to the Reds when they first got him was his ability to bridge those games when the starter went out early out of the bullpen. That's something the Reds don't have right now. It's been one of those nights for Marte. He reached when he was hit by a pitch. He's banged a couple of balls off his legs, and he does it again here. Marte struck out first time up on a 3-2 pitch, struck out on a 1-2 pitch in the 3rd, and then hit by a pitch in the 5th. That was part of that rally for the Pirates in the 5th inning. Single by Freese. Marte hit by a pitch. Cervelli singled in a run. And then Harrison sacrifice fly plated Marte from third. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Step.
The Reds are hopeful of getting number 52 right and on the beam in their bullpen. If they're going to straighten out their bullpen, they need Cingrani to be what he can be. Broken bat, nice play defensively. Cingrani takes care of it, and there's 1 away.
I think Marte's happy that at bat is over. I mean, he's hobbling back to the dugout. We may not see him in the lineup tomorrow.
Well, the one thing that the Pirates have done more of this year is spread out the days off. Nobody's played in every game for the Pirates, and the way he's leaving, it's likely he may get tomorrow off. There's Cervelli, walked, bounced out, and singled in the go-ahead run in the 5th. We'll await the word from the Reds on Reds Live postgame on who will be the starting pitcher for tomorrow. It will not be Raisel Iglesias, who was sent back to Cincinnati to have his shoulder checked out. Rifled into center. It'll drop in front of Hamilton, and Cervelli continues to hit the ball right on the button. His 2nd solid base hit of the night. 1 out, 1 on. And here comes Polanco, who's 0 for 3.
Short, compact, powerful. Pretty much the way you describe Cervelli's swing. He is quickly becoming a folk hero right here in Pittsburgh. Pitchers love throwing to him. Fans love him. He's very engaging. They've done a number of different pieces on him and his personality, the Pirates have, and run him on their TV network. And people have really taken to Cervelli.
And you got to remember, he took over when Russell Martin left, and Russell Martin was one of the key leaders in this clubhouse. They wondered how it would work out. They believed that he'd be solid defensively and okay offensively, and it was a decision that proved to be fortuitous for the Pirates, because he's taken over as a leader of this pitching staff and become a fan favorite as well. No balls, 1 strike to Polanco. That's a strike. 0-2. When Cingrani is right, he's got nasty stuff.
I mean, I don't think Polanco's even seen one of these yet.
Got him. Zip, zip, zip. Strikeout number 1 for the Zinger.
This is what they're trying to do with Cingrani, is get him back on board to the point where they can put him into a game and, you know, a setup role or even a closing role. He's got the kind of stuff to be able to handle that.
I think everybody at the tail end of this bullpen knows right now that the bullpen is in flux. I mean, the opportunities are there to show what you can do.
Well, they're there for the time being. Now, whereas Polanco was overmatched with the Cingrani fastball, not the case for Josh Harrison. Very quick bat. He likes the ball up in the zone.
Harrison, first time up, bounced to short, fly to center, then his sacrifice fly to right to Jay Bruce, plated Marte with the third run for the Pirates. A little low, and it's 2-1. On the corner, 2 balls, 2 strikes. While Harrison took over for Neil Walker at second, I mean, he makes it very clear that from his standpoint, Neil Walker will always be one of his favorite players and favorite teammates. He says he'll always be my man. And he helped me a lot when I first came up. I'm happy he's doing well, and I'm happy that I'm getting a chance to play too. It's worked out well for both of them thus far. Two. Center field sinking, and that's a 9-game hitting streak for Josh Harrison. So 2 on and 2 out for Jordy Mercer.
I really believe that Josh Harrison would much rather see a 95-mile-an-hour fastball than an 85-mile-an-hour slider any day of the week. That ball just got up a little bit, looked like it was on the inner part of the plate, and he just brought his hands in, and there's the bat head.
Mercer tonight bounced out, single to center, and then was intentionally walked. A pad run sitting out at second. Cervelli and Harrison down at first. That's popped back in out of play. Reds facing the Buccos here. Pirates will return to Cincinnati for the second time. May the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th. The Reds will come back here 2 more times. First week of August and then the first week of September for their final 2 visits. Missing down and in. 2-1. Cingrani, long look into Barnhart. That's a strike. In on him a little bit. Sky high fly ball to center. Over is Hamilton. Billy has it, and that'll do it. So 2 hits, but the Reds and Cingrani dodged the bullet. They go back to work. on. The Reds trying to rally here in 8 and 9 for the Reds. It'll be Suarez, Votto, and Phillips due up here in the 8. Changes for the Pirates. Tony Watson will come in, the veteran lefty who pitched last night. And going to first base will be Sean Rodriguez to take over defensively. A normal move for Clint Hurdle defensively late in the game. So here's a Eugenio Suarez, flied out, singled, and robbed of a hit on a nice play by the shortstop Mercer. Six and 2/3 for Liriano. Neftali Feliz a third of an inning, and here comes Watson. Line down the right field line, but foul. For Watson, this is appearance number 345. That ties John Candelaria for number 3 on the all-time list for lefties in appearances.
Of course, a lot of those for Candelaria were as starts.
Yep. He had 3 lives. 2 of them on the baseball field and another one off the field. The Candyman. Hit hard down to first. Who'll win the race to the bag? Rodriguez does. Suarez retired. Here comes Votto.
Rodriguez recognized early on that Watson was not going to get to first base. He hesitated a little bit as that ball came off the bat. Rodriguez immediately fielded, looked up, saw Watson a long way off, and had to race Suarez to the bag. Watson just kind of stands there, and if you hesitate more than a moment or two out there, then your time is lost to beat a hustling runner to first base.
Here's Joey, reached on an arrow, line to left, and struck out looking.
Kind of interesting against Tony Watson, at least at this point in the at-bat. Votto not choking up nearly as much as he did the entire night off of Liriano.
Votto has had some success against Watson. 5 for 17 coming in for a lefty that's been tough on just about everybody. A lot of appearances, a lot of pitches from this veteran lefty. He and Mark Melanson have commanded the 8th and 9th inning for the Pirates the last 3 years. Breaking ball misses. So Votto takes a walk. So the Reds will bring the potential tying run to the plate. It's Brandon Phillips. And Phillips in his career 2 for 15 and a homer against Watson. 133 overall. Brandon tonight singled to center in the first. Struck out looking in the 4th on a call he disputed with Angel Hernandez, and then flied to center in the 6th. That'll sky high foul out of play up to the upper deck. Short lead for Votto down at first. They're playing Phillips straight away in the infield and the outfield. Paid crowd of 34,810, and many have hung through a rainy night. Takes a little off, way out in front is Brandon, and it's 1-2. Joey checks where the infielders are as he inches off the bag at first. Adam Duvall on deck for the Reds. Fastball fouled off, stays 1-2. This bullpen has two lefties. Watson is the main lefty. Kyle Lobstein another. And the right-handers in the bullpen anchored by Mark Melanson include two veterans and three younger right-handers. Foul down the third base line. Archimedes Caminero pitched last night. He'll touch 100. Neftali Feliz you just saw for a third of an inning, and he could be a real benefit as this year goes on. He's a 9-year veteran of the American League, and he's saved nearly 100 games for Texas and Detroit. Ryan Vogelsong is back, veteran right-hander. Way out in front. He gets him.
Well, he had him set up for something off speed. Brandon seemed to be on every fastball that he threw. Finally buried a slider in the dirt.
It's like he threw it in two different. I mean, first slider was pretty fast. Then he took a lot off that one. Here's Duvall, flied out, robbed of a hit on a nice play by the third baseman Freese, and struck out looking. Meat of the order for the Reds here in the 8th, trying to scratch across a run or two. Duvall hitting in the 5th spot. Bruce will follow if he can keep it alive. Swing and a miss, and a 2-strikeout inning for Tony Watson. So Watson does his job in the 8th, and the Pirates still lead it 3-1. Like we promised you earlier tonight, time for our Miller Time moment, brought to you by Miller Lite. Another one for the BPA, Brandon Phillips Archives. Unbelievable. Phillips with a behind the back flip to Joey Votto. He does it again. Good reaction by Votto. They beat the speedy John Jaso, and thank you very much for BP. That dude gets it done again. One of the bright moments for the Reds on this night as they trail it 3-1. Here's Caleb Cotham, who takes over, Chris, on the mound for the Reds, trying to keep it where it is in the bottom of 8.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a bullpen game when your starter goes 4. That's how many Alfredo Simon went. All 3 runs the Pirates have gotten have come off of Simon. Nice job by Ramirez. Good job by Cingrani, even though he danced around a couple of base hits. And now Cotham.
Caleb came over from the Yankees in the offseason. Has allowed an earned run in only 1 of his 11 appearances this year. In fact, if you add up the bullpen, he's probably been the most effective bullpenner the Reds have. He faces Matt Joyce, hitting in the 9th spot of the order as we go to the bottom of 8. Joyce put the game on ice with a homer last night, and he just keeps giving you good at bats. I mean, strong hands, big swing. His homer went to left. This one he turns on and drills a base hit to right. So a leadoff hitter on here in the 8th. He's had some good offensive moments, Chris, in his career.
Of course, a lot of those with Tampa Bay, and some dramatic times with Tampa Bay.
Here's Rodriguez. Took over for Jaso down at first. Jaso's homer in the first gave the Pirates an early 1-0 lead. He started games at third, short, and second base, and will probably start some at first as well. This one hit deep to left, going back, looking up. It will be out of here. Well, another big swing from Sean Rodriguez. He's now homered in 3 of his last 6 games. He had a mammoth home run in Arizona, and this one hit like a frozen rope to left that gets out of here pronto, and it's 5-1 Pittsburgh.
Well, if you're a Pirates fan, you know you're going great when the guy that they put in for defense ends up hitting a home run to help put the game out of reach.
Doesn't get cheated in a big rip to left. Rodriguez homer makes it 5-1. So the #1 spot in the order has given these Pirate pitchers all they needed. A homer from Jaso made it 1-0, and this 2-run homer in the 8th from Rodriguez makes it 5-1. Here comes McCutchen. 0 for 3 and a walk tonight. Call it 388 feet worth of homer for Sean Rodriguez. This one ripped to right, but there is Bruce. He'll glove it, and there's your first out of the inning. And that'll bring up the third baseman, David Freese. Now that's what Ryan Price has looked at every time he's called on the bullpen. Allowed at least 1 earned run in 18 straight games. For the Reds, that's their longest negative streak since 1957 in that category.
Well, if it was only 1 run, it wouldn't be too bad. But the problem is that stat really says they've given up at least 1 run. And really what Brian is most upset about when he watches his bullpen especially is the number of base on balls. The inability to throw the ball over the plate. That plagued Simon tonight, walking 4 in 4 innings. Had a lot of 3-ball counts.
And for the Reds, if you look at the crippling swings that have come late in the game, or even from among the starters, they've allowed 23 home runs now from their starters, and now 20 home runs from their bullpen. That's by far and away the most in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, the problem is their bullpen's pitching as much as their starters.
Freeze disposed of for the out. 2 outs in the inning, and here comes Marte. No doubt when spring training ended, Chris, you know, we all sat down, and Brian Price included, and when Brian Price and Dick Williams and Walt Jocketty sat down, they knew the bullpen would be a work in progress. Hopeful that it would get better as the starting rotation found its veterans coming back. It hasn't started yet, and the bullpens continue to suffer. Look out, Marte gets hit again, and he just can't believe it. And now these two teams that have hit each other coming into tonight 37 times each.
Well, I think the fan reaction was probably way more than what Marte and even the Pirates dugout reacted to. Cotham has no idea of the history between these two ball clubs. I mean, he is not included in that at all. And that brace that Marte has on his left arm does not extend all the way up to the shoulder area. So that got all flesh right there.
He's been hit in the hand, hit in the shoulder, and hit in the foot today. I mean, clearly no intent there, but still said.
Well, the Pirates have been hit this year more than any other team in the National League by a long shot. And they're just going to add to that leader number tonight with a couple of them, a couple of bops on Marte.
Two outs and a runner on. Marte down at first, and here's Cervelli. Cervelli tonight walked, bounced out, singled in the go-ahead run, and then singled again in the 7th. Marte has, that's his 4th career game when he's been hit by a pitch multiple times. 2nd time against the Reds. Comparing bruises, two guys who are often the targets when people start hitting folks. 2 balls, no strikes. That's a strike. 2-1. Missing up high, 3-1.
The guy who's getting a workout tonight is Tucker Barnhart.
You're not kidding.
He's been blocking balls in the dirt all night, reaching way up over his head to snag runaway 4-seam fastballs. This will be his 162nd pitch that he's caught off of Reds pitching tonight.
Sliced into right. Here comes Bruce. Jay closing and got it. The last round up to the Reds going to the 9th. Reds trail by 4. Bruce will lead it off. Sports Ohio has been brought to you by T-Mobile. Get major league coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year. And by Toyota. For over 30 offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Well, from the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a crowd of just over 34,810 has seen the Pirates put up 5 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors. They've left 12 on base. The Reds won 5-0 and 7 left on. They joined us late. Alfredo Simon started 4+ innings, 6 hits and 3 runs allowed. 98 pitches in those 4 innings. First batter he faced, John Jaso, homered against him. So he was in a hole early. Meanwhile, Francisco Liriano went 6 2/3 strong innings. From a Red standpoint, the offense, the 1 run that the Reds did score, came in the 5th inning. Billy Hamilton singled and scored all the way from first on a double by Zach Cozart. From a Pirate standpoint, there was the homer by Jaso in the first. His replacement, Sean Rodriguez, a 2-run homer in the 8th to make it 5-1. The Pirates took the lead for good in the 5th, breaking the 1-1 tie, and a single by Francisco Cervelli. And Cincinnati product Josh Harrison stretched his hitting streak to 9 straight, and his sacrifice fly made it 3-1 in the 5th. Here's Jay Bruce trying to get the Reds rolling in the top of 9.
And he will do it against a new Pittsburgh Pirate pitcher, A.J. Schugel. Schugel is a right-hander, 26 years old, who was placed on waivers twice over the winter. Second time he was placed on waivers is when the Pirates came in, picked him up from the Mariners organization. He's seen big league time previously with the Diamondbacks.
Bruce and Barnhart in the on-deck circle for the Reds. Jay tonight struck out, robbed of a hit on a nice play by Mercer, and hit by a pitch to lead off the 7th. Dribble to the right side. Bruce hustling down the line. The shovel will get there just in time. Good defensive play on both sides of it. Schugel got there to cover the bag. 1 away. Hey, get ready for Reds action 30 minutes before tomorrow's game, and every game with all the info you need for Reds baseball with the Reds Live on Fox Sports Ohio. Reds Live presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Jeff Pecoro, Brian Giesenslaw will be there tomorrow to keep you up to date prior to the game, and they'll be there tonight to put the capper on this one. 1 away in the 9th, and here's Barnhart. Bounced out, flied out. And in one of 2 great defensive plays by the Pirates tonight, after Bruce was hit by a pitch in the 7th, and at that point it was a 3-1 game. Barnhart set a line drive into right center field that McCutchen made a diving, tumbling catch of. So instead of at least 2nd and 3rd and nobody out, there was a runner at first and an out. McCutchen's play, a key play in this game tonight. Down and in for a ball, 3-0. If you joined us late, the Reds catcher Devin Mesoraco not on the disabled list, but nursing a sore shoulder. The hip's not a problem. It's his left shoulder, which makes it difficult for him to swing. So Barnhart getting extra duty behind the plate, and he's played well. There's a walk. Well, the Reds get a base runner. Here's Scott Schebler coming out of the dugout, and he'll pinch hit in the pitcher's spot. Just like last night, Chris, that 2-run home run made a difference in the 9th, and tonight the 2-run home run in the 8th makes a major difference. Instead of a 2-run game, it's a 4-run game.
And instead of the closer, you're seeing a middle reliever trying to get an inning in to close up the ball game. It's a pretty nice first pitch right there, all geared up for the fastball. figuring Schebler coming off the on-deck circle. Pinch hitter is going to be looking for a piece of cheese, and Schugel pulls the string.
Barnhart off first. That misses wide. Schebler on the road trip started 3 games and left. All told 1 for 12 and a walk. Billy Hamilton on deck in the 9th spot. Up and away wide. 2-1. Infield playing straight away with 1 out. Double play level, and the outfield straight away as well. Hit hard down to first rather. They'll get 1. The return to first, and not nearly in time, and a traffic jam there with the pitcher and Rodriguez both there to cover. So they'll get the out on the 3-6 put out, and that'll give Billy Hamilton the chance to keep the inning alive. Hamilton bounced out, single to center, and reached on an infield hit. A 2-for-3 night for Billy. It pushes average over the 200 level. So Schebler down at first. And here's Billy in this crowd, those that remain, and give him credit. I mean, it's rained all night long, and they've hung in here on a wet night. When you looked at the radar before this one started, doubtful you'd get it in. There's a bloop. There goes Mercer, won't get there, and Billy has his 3rd hit of the night. A single to center, an infield hit, and this bloop to left. So 2 on, 2 outs, back to the top of the order. Cozart.
Well, Billy liked to keep it out of the air, but if you could flip it into this spot right here every time, it'd be awfully nice. You get a lot of base hits out of it. And now that there is a save situation presenting itself, just like yesterday.
2nd night in a row.
With 26 outs recorded on the part of the Pirates. They need 1 out to go. Mark Melanson's going to get another shot to have an easy save.
Melanson came in, nailed it down for a save last night. Hurdle's hoping he'll do it again tonight. See if Cozart can spoil the party. Time for a pitching change. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Ichiro connected with his 2,945th career hit today. That passed Frank Robinson for 33rd place on the all-time list, heading to 3,000 hits. Ichiro Suzuki. He also stole his 500th career base. And the Mets won their 8th straight game today, defeating the Giants 6-5, outscoring their opponents, the Reds know full well, 50-1. They got a 12-run inning last night on the way to their victory. And Trevor Story, it's been an up and down month, a lot of up and some down. The rookie record with his 10th homer in April last night. Jose Abreu had the record by himself, set in 2014. Those are your news and notes. And here's Mark Melancon. Chris is going to try to nail down another save.
Well, he's on his 4th major league team. It is his 4th season with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He saved 51 of them last year. He's already got a few in the book, 6 of 7 so far this year, and he's got 1/3 of an inning to go to nail down number 7 for him. Although you're at the top of the lineup, Cozart's hit it hard once and 4 times up.
Well, Melancon on the road trip had his first 5-out save, more than 3-out save in more than 5 years, and only the 3rd time in his career. And now he's going to try for his 6th 1-out save of his career with 127 career saves. He led the major leagues last year and has set a club record with 51 of his saves in 53 chances. Here the Reds are trying to spoil his party. Cozart in the 5th inning, after Hamilton had singled, double down the left field line. That's the lone Reds run you see on the scoreboard if you joined us late. Zach has been on base in 16 of the 18 games he's been in, trying to connect big time off Melancon here from the stretch with 2 on. And it's 0-2.
You know, Melancon doesn't throw an overpowering fastball, but he has essentially kind of a trick pitch. That pitch that you just saw him throw twice to Suarez is a cut fastball. It looks like it's a regular fastball, but it just at the last second darts away from a right-hander. And he pretty much throws that every pitch.
Cozart digs in. Melancon to the stretch. And he got him. Well, Mark Melancon didn't take long to do it. He picks up another 1-out save after the bullpen sets up a save opportunity for him. Sean Rodriguez's big home run, John Jaso's big home run set the stage for Clint Hurdle's victory, and his team has now won 6 straight. Coming off their road trip, they've taken the first 2 of the 3 games against the Reds here. 5-1, the Buccos win this one. Back with more from Pittsburgh after this.